Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Renewed, the virtual streaming workshop. I guess that's what it is. Along with a panel of comedians, are workshopping jokes right in front of you. If you guys want to, before I bring in the guests, if you guys want to comment, you can do so. If you have a suggestion for one of the comments, or for one of the comics, not one of the comments, I don't know what I'm saying there. Yeah, go ahead and just write a comment wherever you're watching this. I just want you to know on some of the platforms, I can't tell who made the comment. It'll come up as anonymous, but either way, if it's a good idea and it's not inappropriate, we will share it. Tonight, I have some great guests from all over the country, so we're going to go ahead and bring them in. My first guest, let's welcome Matt Gwinn. Hello,
What's
Matt.
up?
How's it going?
It's going, brother. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Where are you based out of?
Central Ohio, man.
Okay.
Currently the Columbus area, but soon to be a little bit farther west.
Okay, right on. Columbus, Ohio is a good true crime area.
There's plenty of crime here, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
accurate.
I listen to a lot of true crime. A lot of it, I know a lot of it is heavy in Ohio. All right, we're going to keep bringing them in. My next guest is a fantastic comedian from here in the Twin Cities where I'm based out of. We've worked together. If you listen to the Art of Bombing podcast, you've heard, hopefully you listened to her episode because it was a great episode. Let's please welcome Sarah McPeck.
Hey,
Hey,
everyone.
how are
Hey,
you?
Hey, Matt. I'm good.
How's
are
it going?
you guys?
Good, good. Oh, we already got people commenting, so that's good. People are watching. Uh-oh. Oh, I thought you froze up. I was like, oh no, we lost her already. She's still there. Okay,
I'm
good.
just stoned.
No, your secret's safe with me. I don't know about the rest of the internet, but as long as they can't find your location, you're fine, right?
It's all it's just CBD. It's just CBD.
Nothing wrong with that. I use that to sleep. So,
Yes.
all right. And our final guest tonight, bring him in. Scott Curtis. How are you doing, Scott?
Hi, it's me, Scott.
All the way from Indiana, right? That's where you said,
Yep.
or Illinois? Yeah, Indiana. I get them confused. They're usually so
Mishawaka.
close.
Yeah, Mishawaka, which is close to Notre Dame if you like sports.
Oh, okay. Well, for all the sports people that probably aren't watching this, because I don't
Yes.
think anybody that is friends with me watches sports. Maybe a few do. Maybe a few do. All right, cool. Well, before we get started, I'll kind of let everybody kind of introduce themselves and kind of, maybe share how long you've been doing comedy, or anything you want to share, I guess, to kind of give the people an idea who you are. So we'll start with you, Matt.
Well, I am a fella, a random albino guy, I guess, out in Ohio. Originally from West Virginia. I've been professionally doing comedy now for a year. But
nice.
I spent some time as a door-to-door comedian who just happened to sell magazines for about 10 years, which is kind of where the bug got bit.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody bought the magazines, but they paid us for the jokes. So that worked out, I guess.
Hey, whatever works.
Hey, I mean, if you look at it as buying the magazines, they were way overpriced. The 15 minutes of a random stranger making you giggle, I guess. Whatever. It was fun. We traveled the country and stuff, so it was good. It was, I guess, my road days. A lot of my material kind of comes from, that whole 10-year period, because it was pretty wild.
That gives you a good platform for, talking with people and kind of workshopping stuff. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
All right. And then we have Sarah.
Hey. I'm from Minneapolis. I'm lesbian. I'm also an improviser, teacher at the Brave New Workshop. I have been in stand-up for about 8 years, stand-up and improv, and probably really started hitting it super, super duper hard 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
So
And yeah, and I guess I didn't hear if you mentioned it, but I will mention it. You also produce a lot of great shows around the Twin Cities. So
I
there's that.
mean, it seems
Well,
that way.
when there's more live shows, we should be
I
pretty
know
good
I was
about this
making
pandemic.
I was making almost enough. I was making enough money to cover my rent just from all of my shows
Mhm.
before the pandemic.
Cool.
Nice. Well,
And
Yeah.
that was amazing. I was so proud of myself. And I hit the pandemic, and now I'm back to I think $200 a month, baby.
man.
Right?
And as soon as that outdoor venue closes,
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh, I know. That's the only bad part about where we're based in the Midwest. It gets cold. Like I was thinking, like I have friends on the coast, like
Right.
on the West Coast, and it's like, man, and in the South, they can do comedy pretty much year round if they do them outside, but we can't. Unless we want to really tough it out.
I know I'm gonna keep Muffin Top going as long as we can.
Yep.
Just be out there bitterly cold in jackets and see who
Yep.
shows up.
Bring the coats and stocking caps, ladies and gentlemen. And then we have Scott joining us.
Hey,
Tell him-
yeah. So I've been doing comedy for 4 years, which seems kind of odd because of my obvious age. But I started late because I'm a late bloomer, and I started a podcast called Behind the Bits so that I could learn a lot more about comedy really quick. And Dan has been a guest on the podcast, which was a good episode, fantastic episode, and I'm always wanting to learn, and groups like these, I absolutely love them.
Yeah. And then you do a streaming show on Thursdays that's an extension of your podcast.
Yeah, it's actually an extension of my reason to drink on Thursdays. I just do
That's
that
even
live.
better.
I just do that live so I can fill another one of these big wine glasses up with whiskey. So yeah, that's my life. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Fantastic. Fantastic. All right. Well, I'm going to do a couple quick hellos here. Hey, Lee, glad you're tuning in. I can't talk. Lee's a great comedian in Watertown, South Dakota. Good friend of mine. And then, hey, Rob. Hey, thanks for watching, Rob. He's a fellow I met out in San Diego. And then we have an anonymous user. Like I said, the Facebook groups for some reason won't post the name. So I don't know who this is, but I'll find out later. Oh, so don't be inappropriate. But thanks for tuning in. So we're going to go ahead and get this started. And I'm going to throw it over to you, Matt. And you can tell us the first joke that you are working on.
Well, let's see. I actually was going to bring you guys a little longer story. I know you said like 2 or 3 jokes, but with the magazine thing, there was a guy. There's actually a story I've been working on for about 9 months, pretty intensely, because it's long. So we'll just go with the brief synopsis, and maybe that'll help me trim it down too. You never know. But so there's this guy that I met when I sold magazines named Kenny Rowe, and I kind of named this The Ballad of Kenny Rowe because it's basically about him. I just unfortunately wasn't around for all of this, but it was in the news, so I know it happened, which is great. It's always good to verify. You know what I'm saying? So I met Kenny one night, and that night he also borrowed my 2 front teeth from me whenever I wasn't paying attention. That was a pretty good time. Fortunately, I was drunk, so I didn't really notice, I guess, until the next morning. That was awkward. In case anyone else has ever woken up with 2 front teeth gone, yeah, it's an interesting feeling. It's pretty fun. The humorous part for me personally was that apparently one of them ended up in his hand. And he was so drunk, he didn't take it out. It ended up getting infected, and they had to put him into a medically induced coma to save his hand. So I like the karma part of that, right? It's always good whenever you get to find that out. We had separated, though, by the time that had happened, because obviously, who wants to hang out with somebody who forcibly removes their teeth? That's not a good friend. But not too long after that, he got another friend of mine pregnant. And I called her and was very apologetic for her future. with him, and she told me to fuck right off. And I laughed because I knew something like this was going to happen. I didn't know what, but this is how Kenny manifested his wondrous life, I guess. So when the kid was like 11 months old, and this can only happen in Florida. This is how you know it's about to get really good, because this can only happen in Florida. Kenny took his baby to a strip club / liquor store, which is another place that can probably only exist in Florida or maybe Nevada, I guess. But you know, not only can you buy drinks at the bar, but if you just want to go all out, you can pop bottles, man. They're right there, literally right there. And you know, he proceeds to have a good time. He's hanging out with his kid. His kid's looking at like all these food sources, probably wondering what the fuck is going on. What is my dad doing? Should I be here? You know, the buffet was probably good, I guess. But the real interesting part is that Kenny, for some reason in his brain, decided that he was going to ask the bouncer to watch his kid while he's went outside to smoke a cigarette, which, you know, any parent is like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. Maybe he doesn't want to give his kids cancer, but I mean, he's smoking outside. I guess he's already done so much. Is smoking a cigarette around the kid really that bad? Apparently that was enough for the strip club because they called the cops. He wandered off. And I mean, you know, anytime you're in a situation where someone's going to let you snort cocaine off of their ass, and then, you know, call the cops on you for being a bad parent, you're probably not doing your best life at that point. But I mean, he came back, he got the kid, you know, they couldn't keep the kid. The police hadn't shown up yet, but don't worry. They found him passed out in a parking lot up the road. So, you know, the kid made its way back to his, mom, who called me and apologized for cussing me out, and, wasn't with him after that, fortunately, for her and the kid. They've never actually met, which is wonderful. But the beautiful dual karmic part of this story is he also ended up that week on Nancy Grace's mugshot of the week. So thank you, Florida, for your media laws. And that's kind of what I'm working on. I know there's a lot in there.
There is a lot in there. The first thing that I think of, and maybe it's hacky, but it's pretty obvious because it takes place in Florida. Instead of saying it could only happen in Florida, instead of calling Kenny right away, you should start the story by saying, you know, Florida man is real because Florida man used to be your friend.
Yeah,
right.
Well, I wanted to kind of go along that vein, right? Of like a mix of Florida Man and Voltron as it moved through the season. Yeah, so it starts out as just a regular Florida Man. That was the guy I knew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you know, he became Megatron Kenny, or some kind of Floridatron. I don't know.
You could do something like that. But I guess what I was going to say is, like, if you start the bit off as Florida Man, where you can say, yeah, I know Florida Man's real. He used to be my buddy, you know, till one night, you know, I saw just what kind of man Florida Man was when I woke up the next day and realized he stole my teeth. And then eventually you could get to the point where you're like, yeah, Florida Man's real name is Kenny and he's an asshole, you know, or whatever to that. And then the other thing that I thought of, I mean, because there's some places where you could just leave the story where you don't have to like tell everything, every part of it. But like when he leaves the baby at the strip club, you know, there's an opportunity to be like, most parents leave their kids at the fire station, but only Florida man will leave their kid at a strip club, you know, given the sense that they're just abandoning the child or whatever.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Sarah? Do you have any thoughts?
Well, one, just in listening, like, I kind of want to know why you care so much about this guy. Is it just that he took out your teeth?
I mean, personally, for me, it's my interaction with him and all the other interactions that all my friends have had, because we've all been exposed to some level of this at some point in our lives. Because I mean, quite a few of us have
With
actually
this
tried to help
particular
Florida
guy?
Kenny. Yes, with this exact same individual human
Okay.
being.
Yeah.
He's a very well-traveled individual.
Well,
He
and
wasn't until he ended up in prison. So, you know, the
nobody
bad,
here's surprised.
yeah, right. Like you could hear a pin drop after that when everybody's like, "Eh, no, that's not even funny." I kind of figured that's where it was going to
Yeah.
end up. You know,
Kind of going off.
Do like some preface about that, like, you know, every town has that one guy that, you know, you don't even have to say his name. It's like everyone knows Lefty or whatever,
Yeah.
except this guy is known for just a pile of shit, or, you know, I don't know, something like that. And then my other, just to kind of give it an arc, I guess, like, and also like just that's what I wanted to know. Or if you're just like telling just it's just a funny story. My one thing that I wanted to know was if he didn't give the baby to the bouncer to go smoke, was Florida still okay with him being in the strip club / alcohol sales place? Because that's kind of funny.
Yeah. Yep.
and
You know what I mean?
yeah. And the actual funny part of that is, yes, your child can be in that establishment because it is considered a retail establishment in Florida. I
Okay.
believe,
So
not
I
an
think
actual.
that's a great part of the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that until you brought it up.
Well, good.
Yeah, because that is an odd thing.
Dan, it's working. Your
Yes!
magic is working.
Yes.
And then, and then you called it the Ballad of Kenny Rowe, which
Yeah.
is awesome because it's easy to rhyme. If you're gonna call it the Ballad of Kenny Rowe, I want to hear like a little song about Kenny Rowe. You know, you can kind of tell the story, but take some very easy to sing country western song that people know, like "There's a Tear in My Beer," or
Oh,
just come up with a couple lines.
I've
And
got
this is
plenty
the
of
Ballad
those.
of Kenny Rowe. I would do a little funny little, like, even if it's one paragraph song at the end, that's just kind of all jokey, maybe somehow ties it together.
No, that's a good idea.
Well, I have a character that I do that's super country and hickish because
That'd be great.
At my core, I am a super country hickish. So
Can we hear your hick guy?
Well, I mean, he ain't drank quite a while. He's had these liver problems. Doctor told him might be nerve damage to your knee from the livers. From the shines. I mean, you got to drink the corn stuff because if you drink the rye stuff, you might get funky.
So that's really good. Another
really
thing,
good.
I would incorporate that.
Absolutely.
That's Kenny. That is your character.
Yes,
you record your or incorporate your that country character as Kenny. And have him do some scenario. Like when you talk about him leaving the baby with the bouncer, do an act out of him being like, hey, you know, where he goes up to the bouncer. He's like, hey, man, I got to have a cigarette. You mind watching my baby? And then he like runs off or whatever.
I don't know.
And you can do that.
I never thought of this. But you guys, I fucking love you guys. Excuse me. Sorry. No, like this is a totally Mudbone-esque bit. Like not that I'm not going to do it just because it's kind of like forming like Mudbone was, but like you're awesome.
It has opportunity for that. What about you, Chris or Scott? Chris, I don't know why I called you Chris.
So before the country thing, I was totally entranced with the whole. He took your teeth, and yet he got an infection in his hand. So I was thinking of taking that a little bit further to gangrene, so that, you know, embellish a little bit. So, you know, he's got my tooth in his hand. He gets gangrene, and guess what? That's karma for you. So I'm talking more like a guy from New York than a country guy, but
But that's
all right.
also that's a good point there too, with that part of it too, because that's a good opportunity too to like take a stab at the Florida man thing, because you can emphasize only will Florida man punch somebody and he's the one that ends up in a coma.
yeah,
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that is a funny anecdote.
yeah. And I would take that and take the whole baby thing and cut that down to like 2 lines. So he's got the baby in a strip club. He gives it to a bouncer. Next thing you know, he's on Nancy Grace as mugshot of the week, and then expand on the whole Nancy Grace thing and how that was his 15 minutes of fame and the best thing that ever happened to him. And then he went to jail. So that I feel like you could expand a little bit on the teeth thing and embellish it, cut down the whole strip club thing, keep it there, but cut it down to 2 lines, and then the whole Nancy Grace thing, just totally blow that up so that's a huge punch for you.
Yeah, and I definitely, would agree that you definitely need to do the country accent. If you're going to make the bit longer, if you're not going to shorten it up, you really need to exaggerate that character.
Well, that's part of what's taken me 9 months is I keep trying to shorten it. And every time I shorten it, it just loses all the punch because there's so much.
That's the thing. It's too much. It's too much to unpack. And there's a lot going on. I mean, there's a lot of like, you could see that where it went in 3 different directions. Like right away, I was like, you can go, you should be referencing Florida man. And Sarah was like, well, what's going on at this strip club? And Scott's over here like, what about the teeth? Like we're all like in different.
Yeah.
And like if we were your aunt.
Somehow I would love it if you brought it back to the fucking teeth.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's possible, but that was such a visual up top.
Yep.
Like, I would end it if you can, or end the song with a line about the teeth. I think that'd be a perfect button.
So I could, I could, because I could do like an Arlo Guthrie style ending where it was like, and all this is about my 2 front teeth. Remember my 2 front teeth?
Yep.
Now I got fakes on the top because I couldn't eat chicken wings anymore because I didn't have my 2 front teeth.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Drake. That's who was that. That's our anonymous Drake from Sioux City. He's a comic down there and produces some shows with Siouxland Comedy. Great guy. So, all right, we're gonna pass it over to you, Sarah, to do the whatever you're kind of wanting to work on.
Okay. Well, this is a joke that works fairly well. I mean, when I say that, it hits every time. But the other day I was thinking about this joke and thinking, I wonder if I could like have like a ton of add-ons, and might that be funny?
Oh, like tags and stuff?
So, yeah. Well, so I'll tell you the joke. So I kind of do this bit about, how I broke up with my girlfriend of 8 years, and I've been dating now for the last couple of years. And the last time I was single, I was like 10 years younger, and, at the prime of my life, my body was everything was where it should be. And cut to 12 years later, it's just different sleeping. I just kind of talk a little bit about that, I have it better worded, but where I'm trying to get to with this is then I say, dating somebody new when you've been used to dating the same person for like a decade. I'm like, my analogy for that is like when they remodel your neighborhood Target. You can never find what you're looking for, and it takes you forever to get back out to the car. Right?
Yep. That's a really good punch.
I think I have another thing that I say there, but I'm drawing a big. But then I was thinking, Would it be funny? Are there other things with a remodeled Target and sex that I could just like keep going on and on about, almost like a rant or something?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, maybe. I was gonna say, I guess
know, or what do you
the direction I thought is you could do like other examples of what that dating is like. Like, so it's like the remodeling the Target, or it could be like them suddenly adding a turnabout in the neighborhood. Like all these other things that would confuse you when they change.
Right.
I
like that. Like a roundabout.
Roundabout. There we go. That's what I was trying to say.
That's a good direction. I like that.
Yeah, where you could like other things that if something, when it changes, it would totally just throw you off.
Right. But yeah.
I mean, that's one way you can go, but you could definitely do. I mean, you could do something with.
No, I think that's right. I was just trying to work that out in my mind, like how I would say that, or like But then I would want to have, if I say like if I said there was a roundabout, then I would want to have something about the roundabout. Do you know, like I had something about the Target?
Like, absolutely. Yeah. And I definitely, we definitely would have to, you'd have to have something about that because you did that comparison.
Right.
But I like that idea going in that direction where you have other things that you're comparing it to, but you could do different comparisons too. With like
with the roundabout. Sorry, I was just because it's such a hot topic around here in Columbus because they're like literally throwing roundabouts into random neighborhoods. Like, wow, it'd be like dating. And I was trying to think of, because I'm a middle-aged dude. I'm almost 40. Like, if I tried to go out and date now after being with somebody for 8, because we've been together for 8 years, me and my wife. So I get that feeling. It's just like if you pull into a roundabout in a neighborhood that wasn't there last time you were in the neighborhood, and now you don't know which street is which street anymore.
Oh yeah, that's a good way. Yeah, I don't know which street's which street
because they all have those stupid annoying signs. I've done that a couple of times since I've moved back to Ohio, because I was gone for 18 years. Yeah. And then I came back here and I'm like trying to drive places and I'm like, wait a minute. There's a stoplight here. Now there's a roundabout. Okay. Which road is which? Where can I exit? Wait, there's a 2-lane roundabout. Why did they do that? It's so weird. But
yeah. And I like that, because you were talking about like the dating and the sexual references, like with the roundabout, because it's so confusing. You could relate that to being in a sexual encounter where you're like, you don't know which direction to go, like confused or whatever.
Yeah, that's good. I really did have that happen to me with a girl who like made no noise during sex, which, no shade on her. She was like, I'm sorry, I just get nervous and just not vocal. But like it was going in blind, you're like, normally you're like, okay, that works for you. Okay, a little more of that, or nope, not that, So I was just like diving in. Literally.
Good luck. Hope you enjoy this shit.
10-4.
The last person liked it. I don't know what to tell you.
That's kind of where I was at.
So on the roundabout thing, for some reason I got stuck on that. I was thinking, come on, right lane, left lane, what makes you happy? Just tell me. Just tell me.
Oh yeah.
Give me a sign.
Yeah, because you can't even really use turn signals in a roundabout. Man, roundabout's a good one for this.
Yeah, it is.
Because if you
it's very confusing.
You can totally not change lanes or anything. I mean,
you want to throw total chaos into a neighborhood, throw in a roundabout.
You have to decide so quick.
Right? Yeah, and it's funny too because some of these like smaller towns are getting roundabouts now. Can you just imagine being in a small town and then they just randomly throw in a roundabout because you're just like, I don't get this.
Yeah, I'm in one of those.
Oh, yeah, that happened in Arkansas before we moved. They started doing it out there too. It was just People were so mad, so angry at life. Like, they're just ruining everything. And there's actually they're doing this to play along these traffic things. Like, they're doing this new traffic pattern for one of their off ramps where like all the traffic has to intersect. That's going to be interesting. I'm so happy we moved before that went live. Like, there's going to be like accidents after accidents. Poor bastards.
Yeah, that's how I feel about the cities. All the freeways here are stupid.
Yeah.
I lived in San Diego for a while, and their infrastructure, their freeways were pretty easy, but like everything's so backwards in Minneapolis. I'm just like, oh.
Well, imagine growing up here and your whole life. You're like, crosstown, you can take to this, and you can cut over to that. And now it's like blocked.
Oh, yeah, because of the freeways.
Like, this isn't where the highway goes. What the fuck?
This is supposed to be my shortcut.
Now I don't know my shortcuts anymore. Exactly. Yeah.
So I was thinking about some tags on Target.
Yeah.
So everything's moved. So all the stuff that was where I liked where it was is now Legos and towels.
I like that. That's so true. You're like, the bread used to be here.
Yeah.
Now it's fucking picture frames.
And I don't know where to find the bath salt.
Yeah. That's
and I just... you talking about the freeways getting in the way and blocking shortcuts just made me think of that. Like, you could throw that in with the roundabout too, where you can say something about, you can be like, yeah, and then they'll throw a highway and block the shortcuts. You really don't know how to get there, you know?
Yeah, I like that. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. That's good. Because I was like, that's a good joke, but I feel like it's flesh her out, you know?
Yeah, it definitely has room.
You could tag that and take in a lot of different directions, either within Target or getting to Target, you know, with the roundabouts and stuff. Yeah, I think you could totally work with that.
Because you could even start it. You could start the bit differently and start it where you're talking about dating. And you're like, you start dating after being with somebody so long, it's like, you know, getting stuck on a roundabout. You don't know which direction to go. And then you can go into the Target and have that ultimately be the final punch of the joke.
That's actually great. Yeah. God, Dan.
Wait, this is a team effort.
Yes. No,
yes, we're killing tonight.
Me too. I like both of those suggestions a lot. Thank you, guys.
Yep. All right. Well, we're gonna move over to you, Scott. What do you got?
All right. So I've got one that's always
we're done. No, just kidding.
Good night. Have a great night,
Have
everybody.
A great night.
Scott Curtis, everyone.
So anywho, I got one that's always done pretty well, but it's hurt my ego because I think it should kill. So I've put it away for a couple years, and I haven't even read it out loud for a while. So I'm going to be reading off my words. So
nice.
So as you can tell, I'm a baby boomer. You may have noticed that my people are using social media. And when I say social media, I mean Facebook. That's really all we can handle. And I'm sorry about that. I apologize. The stuff they do defies logic. I mean, I'm them and I don't understand it at all. Okay, first off, we like our own posts. Just watch. We'll post something and we are going to like it every single time. And when somebody else doesn't like it, we're going to like it again because we think we're gaming the whole Facebook algorithm. So here's another one. After we like our posts, we share our own posts. I don't know if this is a continuation of trying to beat Facebook or if we just forgot that we posted something, thought it was neato, and shared it. Some of us have either figured out how to make a meme or are bribing our grandkids to make memes for us. Whenever it's a boomer meme, it's becoming a thing. So have you ever seen the one that says kids these days drink bottled water, we drink out of a hose? Well, apparently we're proud of that. And I personally don't look back fondly on my drinking out of a hose days. But the big one, and this is the clincher. Here's a big one: Minions. I don't get it. Those blue, yellow, one-eyed cartoon things, we love them. We will post every single Minion meme we see. There are hundreds of groups dedicated to Minions, and the average age of the members is 62. Don't ask me what the fascination is with Minions. The only thing I can think of is they look like the pills we take to stay alive. End joke. So you guys are reacting like everybody else I want to react.
That's funny. That's a great.
That is, I'm like, I mean, there's some, I mean, it's worth exploring, but that's a really good bit. That's really funny.
I like that.
Like all of it was really good because it's so true.
Yeah.
Like I think about all the people, the older people that I know when they get on Facebook,
Oh yeah.
how that, you know, the liking their own stuff and sharing it. And like with that, you know, there might be a better way to word where you say we share it, and it's because, you know, whether we forgot we already posted it or, you know, like making it about being it, but you should really emphasize that it was an accident.
Yeah.
Couldn't read the screen to see that it was actually me who posted it, so I shared it just to make sure it got shared. I've seen
shared
that
it like 15 times.
Yeah, yep. Shared
Adding
it
on
like
to
15
what Matt
times.
said, I
Yeah.
like that. You couldn't.
Oh,
see the
yeah, 'cause
screen.
You could say, yeah, you scroll
So you
down
just kept
through
clicking.
yeah, and you can say, you're like, is this sharing? And then you're like, yeah, you look through a boomer's Facebook timeline, and it's just the same post for like 50 in a row.
And it's true.
Yeah.
So
That's really good. I can
It's just
definitely
like-
add that.
the only thing that I wrote down as not that it needs work, but an opportunity to throw like a one-off like joke in there is when you said we like our own post. And then you could also be like, just because I like that you're incredulous about yourself, right? I
Mhm.
liked how you called them like they, them, we do it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I'm them, they're me, or however you said that. That was funny. But when you said you liked your own post, I would say, I would make a joke that starts liking your own post is like da 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 da. Right? You know, like, I don't know what that would be like.
Well, I got an example for that.
Yeah.
Because you're a comedian and you're doing comedy, you can be like that'd be like me telling a joke and just being the only one laughing at it. You know, because it's a good example because you're right there doing comedy. And then you could do a dumb joke, like a super dumb joke that wouldn't necessarily get a laugh and then laugh at it.
Laugh at it.
really loud, just as loud as you could possibly laugh.
Yeah.
You know?
About a minion. About a minion.
Yeah. That's a good setup.
Bring the
Yeah.
minion in and then end with it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
And
that.
I really like that too at the end, that maybe it's because they look like the pills that keep us alive.
Yeah.
So
Stellar.
freaking great.
That is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's always done well. It's all the stuff that's in between. I mean, it never dies. I mean, it's never a terrible joke, but I always thought it would be like a closer for me or something. And it's just kind of okay in the middle.
Well, you
Here's
could
the
try
question
adding
for
a
you.
couple of my family members
Yeah.
to that joke. I've got one whom I won't name that tags you in your own posts.
Okay.
That's yeah.
If you post a picture, you get tagged in it. It's your post, your picture, your profile picture. But hey, you get tagged in it. It's cool. And then I have another family member who's like a 85-year-old troll, and he's great because he actually gets Facebook.
Yeah.
So like the few boomers who get it go wild with it. So he just sits there drinking beer, watching Fox News, messing with people. And he doesn't mean any of it. He's just messing with people. And the memes. That's what he uses. He uses memes.
Yeah.
But he's so I don't know. That was who I thought of.
I think those are all great suggestions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did have one thing that's come up that I might want to add to it, and it's married couples who share the same Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
working with
Agreed.
that, and who cheated,
Yeah.
and
I would
Yeah.
say this though, and maybe it's not now. I've heard comedians do jokes about that, so that's kind of recycled.
yeah, okay,
That particular thing, the
Right.
joint accounts and who
Yeah.
cheated, that kind of thing, just to give
Right.
you a heads up
okay.
on that.
Well, yeah, that's good.
Because the way you were talking about, like with boomers and stuff, I've heard some stuff about older people using Facebook, but not like yours was really, really good. Like the
Yeah.
way you were going with it.
Well, you
And
can
it is-
still
I
do
do
joint
super-
accounts. You can
I do
still
keep
do.
it completely innocent too, so that it's
Mhm.
not. I don't get into the cheating thing, so
And-
that might muddy it up a little bit.
Well, no, you could still do joint accounts. You could just do it like, and some of us boomers are even getting to the age where we have to have a joint account with our spouse because they can't remember their they can't remember
Yeah.
where their phone
Yeah.
is.
Yep.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah.
One remembers the login, one remembers the password.
yeah,
Yeah. Yep. It's a team effort. We have to.
And then
We
you
have to
could make
rely on
another
each other.
joke about that with something else too.
Mhm.
like the sharing, like, hey Jim, did you share the picture? Yeah, I think. I forget. Will you share it for me? Yeah.
And then suddenly the timeline just has 50 of the same picture.
yeah.
So I have a
Well-
little like what I would say when you were talking about how it's funny, people laugh, and it kind of seems long in the middle, or
Mhm.
you know what I mean?
Right.
I kind of have the same issue sometimes because I have a lot of like either exposition or things that you're adding. So I think what it is, it's like, and I don't mean this with any shade or anything, but basically it's the same, right? So we've set up the premise, and then you give all the, jokes
Rapid,
or
yeah.
the situations, but basically it's the same joke over and over again, right?
Right.
Like, so
Yeah.
the audience is already now they're starting to be like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
What I would do is say something, because I think the funny part is you're making commentary again, like I brought up before,
Uh-huh.
as one and actively talking about it.
Right.
So maybe give your, it's like liking your own, we like our own likes, and then kind of like break that third wall and give commentary to the audience. Like, are you fucking serious? Who does that? Like, so
Yeah.
it's breaking.
Oh,
it
yeah.
up,
Yep.
Yeah.
and then give the next one and be like, like you're just getting like more incredulous with how dumb this is, but you're stopping the joke and you're connecting with the audience, and then you're going
Right.
back to the joke again. That might help it flow a little better.
Yeah.
I
That's
was
a really
thinking
good
of-
suggestion.
I was thinking about that too. If somebody is laughing harder or they're nodding or something like that, you've seen it, haven't
you
you?
know.
You've seen it.
Yeah.
Who is it? Is it your
Yeah.
grandpa? And
Right.
and
Yeah.
take it to that.
Well,
That's
I was
great.
curious too about this bit as far as your delivery goes when you're on stage. How is your delivery? Because you were pretty rapid fire with us.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like the bit, I didn't feel like there was any drag in the middle. To me, it felt like that was a lot of momentum building up. And when you got to that final punchline about the minions looking like pills that keep you alive, that was really funny to me. So
yeah.
How
Honestly,
do you-
my delivery on those longer exposition stuff like that was not as good when I did it last time. So I've definitely honed down my delivery to a point where I can get it out quicker, make sure that all the punches get the punch you're supposed to get. So that is one thing. I know my delivery wasn't as good as it could be when I used to say it.
Okay, because I wondered about that, because you were talking about that, because listening to you tell it now, I was like, well, that came out pretty quick, and I don't see how that wasn't hitting, because it was hitting with us, and we're, various ages, and it's like, oh, wait, so, but Sarah's suggestion is huge, that, doing where you break that the fourth wall and make basically, because when you're doing the bit's ultimately about you being a boomer and you doing this stuff.
Yeah.
And then when you break out a character, you're making fun of you still, but relating with the audience. And that's brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's absolutely perfect. And either the calling out somebody who looks like they understand what I'm saying, or the commentary, or actually admitting myself when I've shared my own post, something like that. Yeah, I thought I thought it was pretty stupid, but here I did it myself. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I actually have one bit that I want to run by you guys tonight. It's a bit that it's an older bit that I did differently, and I'm going to rework it now. So the original bit was I used to be in a relationship, and she had a kid, and I was kind of a stepdad. And the bit had to do with the kid being smarter than me, and I have a scenario. Well, I kind of want to rework the bit, but instead of the kid thing, because now I'm not with that woman, I'm not a parent, blah blah blah. I'm going to do it as an uncle babysitting. And so I want to start it off. So the bit is I'm going to start it off with I'm too dumb. I don't think I can, I don't have kids. That's kind of where I'm going with it. I decided I'm not going to have kids. People think I should have kids. And I'm like, honestly, I think I'm too dumb to be a parent. I don't think I'm smart enough. Kids are smart. And I don't think I can match their wit. And then I want to use this example where I'm like, I had to babysit my niece one time, and she's like in the 5th grade, and I was helping her get ready for school, and she's getting ready to leave, and I saw that she was about to take a bunch of cookies with her, and I was like, whoa, all right. The cool uncle in me wants to let her take the cookies, right? Now, The responsible uncle knows if I let her take the cookies, her mom will be angry at me. The fat guy in me just wanted to eat the cookies. And then I say, then I decided I was going to be responsible. And I said, I'm sorry, you can't take those to school. Your mom won't let you take those to school. We can't have it. And then in the character, the kid looks at me. She looks me right in the eye and says, I'm not taking the cookies to school. I'm actually taking them to the bus stop. I'm going to give them to all my friends, and then they're going to take them to school. And then I'm like, whoa, all right. I can't argue with that reason. Take the cookies. That's essentially the bit. That I'm trying to work on.
So you could go into also a bargaining type thing. So when you go into the I'm going to eat the cookies, I want to eat the cookies, or she can take the cookies. It's like, hey, Uncle Dan, I'll give you half if you let me take these.
Okay, I like bargaining.
Yeah, so that's one way you could take it.
Because I could even say, because I could. Oh, sorry.
Well, no, you're good. Like, kind of with what he was saying, the bargaining, but you could also do internal bargaining. Like, do I do this because I'm responsible, or do I do this because I'm fat? I don't really know what to do right now. This is more of a reason why I should not have kids, right?
Oh, yeah, I like that, because I could also incorporate them both. I can use kind of like what you were saying to incorporate the bargaining, because I could say that at that point I could do it. Where I'm like, yeah, so now am I doing it because I'm responsible, or is it because I'm fat? Is it just because I want to eat the cookies? And then I can go, and then she could tell that I wanted the cookies. Now she started bargaining with me, and she was like, hey, what if I give you half the cookies? That kind of thing.
And that goes back to how you set it up with, I don't think I'm smart enough to raise a kid because they're smarter than me. So you can actually turn that around and bring it into your punch.
Yep. I like that.
Yeah.
And then we're both in trouble because we both ate sugar.
Yeah.
She gets hyper and I take a nap.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's true.
That's what I was thinking, because you said, I'm too dumb to be a parent.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you said? How did you
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm too dumb to be a parent. Kids are smarter than me. Is what I was getting at.
Kids are smarter than me. Okay. So just listening to it, I still didn't pull from it that you were dumb in any of this. You know what I mean? It's not like you're dumb. If you're dumb, then do things that are dumb. When you're or come up with a different setup that you can play off of, Or
maybe instead of maybe bright is, because I guess it's not so much being dumb. The premise, I guess, was too dumb to be a parent because kids are smarter than me. And I'm trying to, in the situation, the kid outwits me and gets the cookies. That's
Maybe
kind of
they
that's
could,
what
like-
I'm trying to do with it.
Maybe
Huh?
something like when I was shopping for a used car and I drove home in a Yugo, I realized I was easily bamboozled, and that is why I should not have children. And or you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
how I don't know.
Well,
Okay,
you could
I
set
like
it.
where you're going with that.
You
the
could set it up like instead of
examples.
saying you're dumb, like she said, be like, kids these days think way faster than we used to. Hell, they think faster than me. That's probably why I don't have kids, because I don't think I'm as quick as they are.
Mhm.
Something like that.
Oh yeah,
And
that's
then
not a bad
go
idea.
into it.
I don't know.
Faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, because with that too, because I could go to the. If I got to the point where we split the cookies, they get hyper, and then I'd say something about passing out, napping. That even shows that I'm slower physically too.
Yeah.
But okay,
With the
There's definitely-
diabetes.
yeah, especially with diabetes.
the
Yeah, 'cause like
Yeah.
coma,
yeah,
the kids.
Well, and
running
that's-
around.
really, and that's where I could really bring it around, because I could once we get to the bargaining and I talk about passing out, I can say, and that's why kids are smarter than me. She knew I was diabetic and she tricked me into eating the cookies, and then I passed out and she got to
Yeah.
do whatever she wanted.
There you go.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know.
Wham.
Yeah, that's definitely got teeth, though, Dan.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
something
Yeah,
you can-
I got some good ideas on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't even have to be like going to school either. It just be a situation when I was babysitting, and the niece wanted cookies.
Yeah. Because, the kids are going to just do anything they can whenever it's the uncle or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They'll,
Exactly.
And I sure
Yeah.
tried to get away with more whenever I was around the extended family.
Right? Yeah.
Right. You ain't got to deal with this problem later. Come on.
I actually
how-
did get. Go ahead.
Oh, nothing.
Oh, I thought somebody said something.
No.
Oh, I thought somebody was about to say something. Oh, well, I was just going to say I definitely got in a lot more trouble when I hung out with my uncle because he didn't give a shit what I did. In fact, I got my one and only minor consumption when I was hanging out with my uncle. And that's not even a joke. That's real. And I could actually incorporate that into this,
Yeah.
actually.
So hanging out with my uncle taught me that I, as an uncle, should never be left alone with children.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know.
Or have my own.
Right. You could even do something about the turn, like the title. Like, just because you have a title, like, here's a joke that I was kind of like working on that kind of might work with it. I mean, on
Mhm.
some levels, like, just because you have a title, right, does not automatically mean you're qualified for
Oh, yeah.
the
That's
responsibilities of this title or something, or titles themselves. Like, I had this woman send me a message the other day that's like, hey, I know you're a fun gal. Do you want to check out my like online sex store? Right. She's another like leasing agent in the real estate world that I do my daytime job in. And in my mind,
Oh, that's
first I'm
weird.
like, why am I a fun girl? Because I'm gay? Or you just look at my picture and assume I want to be in on your sex toy deal?
Hey, she
Whatever.
likes dildos. Yeah.
She likes it, but so that's fine. But then I text her and I was like, hey, I can't look at your page. It just directs me to this. And she was like, oh, okay, I'm just getting the kinks out. Haha.
yeah, I know, right?
But then she said, I will have to reach out to my dildo mentor. Now she wasn't even being funny. And I tried to stand up about this at my open mic, like just try to work some shit out. I'm like, and so what I came up with, I'm like, dildo mentor, like your mentor, your dildo mentor, is that just possibly a little much? Like kind of like when chiropractors call themselves doctors. But what I'm saying is maybe you could start off with like a title that's,
Mhm.
I don't know, something.
No, I see where you're going. I like that. But with your bit, maybe instead of chiropractor, do dentist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's a real big one, with that. Like, people always make fun of dentists for not being real doctors. You see that a lot. Maybe it's too common. I don't know. But I really like that.
Sarah, what you just said is the first time I have for real LOL'd in like a month. So that's definitely usable.
Okay, good. Well,
I've
you.
never
Work on that.
I've never in my life heard somebody referred to as a dildo mentor.
No. And she was
working the kinks out. Come on.
Yeah, I know that was so good.
I didn't say
I thought I wasn't sure if it was part of the bit or you said it on accident. I said it
on accident. And
I was like,
oh, that's great.
I wanted to laugh, but I was like, I also don't want to be inappropriate.
I couldn't help myself.
Because that was so funny. Oh, wait, look at this. We got a suggestion from the audience here.
Ooh.
Oh, Chris Wright. He was on he won your contest, right?
Yeah, he was a second place winner on my comedy contest. Yeah.
My uncle's way more of a contraceptive than any condom can ever be.
That's good.
That's really good.
That's good.
Wow.
Chris actually uses every forum he can to just do his one-liners. I mean, he'll text me a one-liner. He'll send it in the mail from Scotland. Whatever Chris can do, he'll do it.
Yeah. Oh, this is another good one for him. Just Sarah. Yeah. When you're talking about the doctor thing.
Yeah.
The mentor, you can say they're as much of a doctor as Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good suggestion.
Chris Wright, that's very funny. Thank you.
Yeah. He's from Glasgow, right?
Glasgow, yeah.
Glasgow?
Scotland.
Yeah. I met him the other day on Scott's other show. He's really great guy. I got a lot. Does everybody feel good about what they got? I know we didn't get to do as many jokes as I wanted.
I'm super happy with what I got. That was awesome.
Good. That's fantastic. I think we're gonna wrap up the show. I'll let anybody do some quick promotion if you have anything coming up, podcasts, streaming shows, whatever. We'll go ahead and just go clockwise around. Go ahead, Matt, if you got anything you want to plug. Where can people find you on social media, that sort of thing?
I mean, the central hub of the albino is www.albinorhino.me. I don't know how I got lucky enough to get that damn website address, but it's fucking stellar and I love it. And that's where everything is, man. Facebook, YouTube,
I gotta unpack something. Albino rhino. If you take off your hat, is there a horn?
No, you can't see the horn, and it's not even a good horn. If you ask my wife, it's standard white boy issue.
As soon as I started talking about a horn, I was like, "Oh fuck!" I set myself up. That's
you
bad.
You did.
Like, oh.
And I
that's
love
totally on me.
Yeah, it's all right. It'll be okay.
All right,
it's okay.
Go ahead, Sarah.
I don't have anything online going on right now, but if you want to check out an awesome podcast I did called Champagne Jamboree with my musical duo partner, Amanda Costner, we have a full year, which is awesome. You can find me on Instagram at Sarah_McPeck, Twitter, Renegade Hippo, and Facebook, Sarah McPeck. There's not too many McPecks out there in the world, so you're going to find me.
Excellent. All right, Scott, what about you? Oh, go.
I'm
ahead,
producing
Sarah.
a new show at Sisyphus, and
I
just think this is fun. It's called the Wednesday Night Comedy Show.
The what?
Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday. Okay, that's what I thought you said, but I was like, wait, did I hear that wrong? Because sometimes I have hearing problems. Just ask my fiance; she'll tell you. I'm like, did I hear that? That is a really good name, though. I love it. All right, Scott, where can people find you and all your stuff?
So the Behind the Bits podcast is real easy to find if you just type Behind the Bits into any podcast app. And tomorrow I've got a confidence coach named Scott Hardiman, and he's from over in London. So I'm changing things up a little bit, and I threw the kitchen sink at him. of all the stuff that can go wrong with a comic, like a bad set, you produce a bad show, everything that was good is bad now, all the stuff, and he talked me through all of it. So he did a really good job.
Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. I might be confused here. You said he's a confidence man. So like, is that like a personal coach, or
yeah, he's a confidence coach. Yeah,
when you said that, when you said confidence man, this is how much true crime I consume. Automatically thought he was like a con man.
Yeah,
like like a confidence man. Like he, you know, con people. That's what I was like. Wait a minute, what?
No, you just got to tell him this. Just tell him this. It'll be okay. Just tell him this.
And also a song by Jeff Healey, by the way. But also I've got the Thursday show that's kind of just my Goat Ranch reason to drink, get people on and just talk. And Dean Martin shows up for a while, and that's what I got going on. That's every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Excellent. All right. And for me, you know, if you're watching this, hopefully you're subscribed to the Art of Bombing podcast. That is, this is Renewed as an extension of that. For my personal comedy dates, you can find me at danbublitz.com. I do have some live stuff coming up. I'll be in Utah on Friday for Dry Bar Comedy, and then I'll be in Las Vegas in November for the World Series of Comedy. So thanks for tuning in, and Renewed will be back in 2 weeks with a whole brand new lineup. Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. You guys are awesome. Thanks.